Greetings, friends! It's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush. And today on my art table I have something special. I told my friend that I wanted her to keep an eye out for a good picture of her new grandbaby and her son. And so this is what I came up with by compositing several images that she sent me. This is the first one that she sent, and you can see it's very static, very posed. I mean, the baby's got a lovely smile, doesn't he? But her son doesn't look all that happy, and he's very posed. So when she sent the second picture, this one, I was much happier with it, except the pink background is just not working. Baby doesn't have a smile in this one. That's a shame. And she didn't want the sunglasses on her son. I understand completely. I'm going to have to get rid of the sunglasses. So I figured the only way I'm going to be able to do this is to take an old photo. This is the one from the first grandbaby. I cut out his head out of this photo and then went back to this one and pasted it on. You can do these kinds of things in Photoshop. I really like the way I have that kind of control. So here I've pasted it. And I decided that I'm pulling the baby and the father away from each other, so I made him lean back ever so slightly to match his head. I'm going to get rid of that dribble cloth on his shoulder. That's not working for me. So I sort of painted it out. Now I'm still, unhappy with that baby's lack of a smile, and I had to change the arm to fit the direction the baby is sitting now. I'm not worried about that big shadow up at the top of the shoulder. I can fix that in the artwork. And now I need another foot, because as you remember, the feet of the baby in the original are down, straight down, and so I added another leg so it looks more natural, and I cut out that smile and pasted it on top of the baby, added a filter so it matches the rest of his face, and that is going to be a much better fit. Now you can see the foot isn't working because part of it was cut off, so I had to sort of paint in the rest of his foot just for reference. I'm also going to change some colors. I changed the color of the background to more of a tan, and I'm changing the color of his shirt, the father's shirt, and the hat. And that shadow, I can paint that out in my collage. So now that I have a working photo reference, I can begin drawing. I sketched it in first and then decided I wanted to move them over a little ways and down, because I've got room on this paper to show much more of the father's head. And the photo reference, the top of his head is cut off. So the first thing to do is to sketch everything in. Unfortunately, I can't put my computer right behind my art table, so I have to keep stopping and looking over my shoulder to see my reference. And sometimes that's a little awkward, but you know, whatever works. As you can see, I've drawn a grid onto my paper because I really want this to be accurate. It needs to look like the person that you're painting. Obviously, my friend will be happy to notice that it looks like her son and her grandson. Obviously, to make this part as accurate as possible, I'm going to be doing lots of erasing and making it, look just like who it's supposed to look like. Now, I don't care for the hat myself, but I don't have any photo of him without one. So I'm just going to deal. Now I'm going back and making a few alterations, noticing that the photo in my reference, he has a little bit bigger ear, his shoulder doesn't come down quite that far, baby's eye, one eye needs to be lifted. You know, it's little things like that. And this is the part of the meal that you don't really care to eat, but you kind of have to get to the dessert, if that makes sense. I really don't care for all of this sketching and erasing and erasing and sketching, but I want to get to the good part, the part where I'm actually doing the collaging. So finally, I'm putting in my tan background. And this is about as far as I'm going to get this week on this particular drawing. Because we had a bit of an adventure this week. My husband and I needed to drive to Southern California to go to a funeral. Sad event, but it was nice seeing family. So being from the Central California Valley, we do not do the kind of traffic that we encountered in the LA basin. And I'm telling you, that Southern California traffic, what should have only taken 4 hours, took 5.5 because of the stopping and starting traffic. So there was lots of stopping and starting and more stopping and slowing down. Oh, it was a mess. It was very stressful, and as you can see, it was very overcast, which I found pleasant because the temperature was at least 20 degrees less than what I'm used to around here. So we finally get to the funeral. It was very nice seeing family. And then on the way back, we hear a flash flood warning, and it starts to rain. And it pelted us with rain for half an hour. Amazing. Bye, everyone. Have a good week. I'll see you next time.